So before I pushed the little record button, I sat and decided whether or not I should do this video because it can probably get a little lengthy. But before I tell you what it's about, guess what? I saw goddamn gray hair. Right, it was right up here somewhere. I forget. But anyway, I wanted to share a few jewels from beyond. That I think needed to be shared. I went to the funeral of a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and I shared them with the audience because she was so phenomenal, and I had some takeaways from our time together, from a few principles that she lived by, and I felt if people didn't live by them or didn't understand them or had never experienced them, then they should. So, you know, if you get it and you feel it, I want you to share this video with other people so they could get it, because our world is like really fucked up. So if you're watching this and you're on Facebook, then you know Nyla, Nyla Crawford. She passed away a few weeks ago, March 19th to be exact, which is my grandmother, my Nana's birthday. My Nana passed away in 1992. But anyway, Nyla she was awesome. I don't think I had ever met anyone like her outside of my mother. And she lived by a few things which were so awesome. And, you know, a couple of them I couldn't wrap my head around for a while until I took a step back, and I'm like, damn. So, you know, one is loyalty, which I'm big on, loyalty and honesty. And, you know, I consider myself to be a very loyal person. But I never looked at loyalty in this way until I watched hers, because it was so organic. You know, we call ourselves loyal, but, you know, if we get mad at a friend or family member or somebody that we love, you know, we may communicate that to them. We may not communicate that to them. But one thing we always do is we share that experience with other people, and that's putting it lightly. You might call them and talk shit about them. You know, I've done it. My friends have done it. My family members have done it. And that, to me, when I look at Nyla and her loyalty, it isn't really loyalty. If she was mad at you, she let you know, and then she let it go. And that was it. No one else ever had to know about it. I remember when I would go to her house, and sometimes her sister would be there. Her sister didn't like me. It was for no particular reason at all. The chick just didn't like me. I was always nice. You know, I always spoke to her, never gave her attitude. But when I would speak to this bitch, if she did speak back, it was like a chin up. Oh, for real? You get the pleasure of my attention, and that's what you do? And the last time she did it, that just was like the end of it for Nyla. Nyla cussed her ass out through and through and forbidded her to be at her house while I was there, because there was no reason why she should be treating me like that. And she didn't like it. That's some deep shit, because it's blood versus water. And we've all been in those situations where, you know, a family member wasn't exactly that presentable to our friends, or didn't treat our friends well, and you don't know how to handle it, because you always choose your family, but then again you have your friends, so you just try to keep it subtle and say nothing. But for her to do that, I was like, damn, you know, that's that's cool. I like that. I've never seen anybody handle it like that. She taught me some things about commitment. And she really made me see that commitment is a whole lot deeper than, I'm with you as long as you're faithful to me. And commitment was more than fidelity. And it should not be an issue of infidelity or not. Like, commitment, whether you going ahead and get married or not, it's still, it's once you commit to someone, it is for better or worse. And I never thought about it that way. I never thought about how deep it is, because you are not only committing to the best or a little bit of the bad, you are committing to the worst of that person. And you really have to be strong. Shit, I probably got really scared of commitment when I really actually thought about what it was. But she was married for about 23 years. And another thing about that commitment, and what she always told me was, and it's crazy because this came up with Jada Pinkett a couple days ago, was, my husband can go do whatever he wants to do. He has to face his maker for his decisions. I'm responsible for my own happiness, and my happiness does not depend on what he does or what he doesn't do. I made a commitment to him, and that's what it's going to be. So another woman was not a thought in her mind. It was actually the farthest thing from her mind. And it's not that she didn't care whether he saw other women or not. I don't even know if she did. It just wasn't an issue to her. She made a commitment, and she was sticking to it. She loved him without ownership. I think that was so deep. It was very deep. And it was crazy. She told me about when she first met her husband and how he didn't have a job when they met. And he was going to meet her family. And she wanted him to be confident and to feel like a man, but he didn't have money in his pocket. And she knows that, a man's manhood is connected to his financial status. So she said that she went and cashed her paycheck and gave him her whole paycheck so that he could have money in his pocket and feel better about himself when he met her family. I think that was so deep. Like, she was such an awesome woman. But I will come back to it and say it again, to love without ownership, without stamping this person is mine on that love, that's deep, because we're so connected to the flesh. And as humans, if we decide that we love you, then you owe us, and you're mine, and you're mine, you're ours, or whatever it is. We put that ownership on you, consciously, subconsciously, and that's crazy. And it takes away the freedom. I remember she said to me, just because you get married or you're in a relationship, that doesn't exempt you from being human. And that's really deep too, because a lot of times we take the human out of a person when we become exclusive, so to say, and they can't fuck up. And if they fuck up, then that just messes up the whole relationship. Oh, we don't trust them no more, blah 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 blah. You look at them funny, and it's like you just deified this person. They're gonna make you mad. They're gonna do something wrong because they're human. They're not perfect. And that's one thing that she didn't do. She did not exempt her friends or her husband from being human. And she understood. And that's not to say that you're supposed to stand for a bunch of bullshit. But when you're so natural, and your love and your loyalty and your commitment is so organic, and you do what's right, but you make it known that you're not gonna just stand for anything, people tend to fall in line. I've noticed that. It's getting on 10 minutes here, so I'm just gonna say one more thing. Also, what I noticed about her is no matter what was happening, I've never seen her with an unhappy moment, even in her sickness. And it's because she didn't place her happiness in people and things. And she also did not live for the praise of others. She wasn't a buck wild person. She just did whatever the fuck she wanted to do. And she understood that her decisions and her actions were between her and God, not her and other people. So she wasn't looking for people's praise. And that's another deep thing when you think about it, because I don't care how much you say you don't care what other people say. Most likely you do. Most likely that dress you're putting on, or that cologne you're putting on, or that car you're buying, or that house you're buying, or whatever it is, or you going to church or not going to church, or going to the club or not going to the club. A lot of times our decisions are based on what we think other people are going to think. And that is so stressful, and it can fuck you up. She did what she wanted to do. So in closing, I say, assess your loyalty and make it greater. Do the same with your commitment. Love without loyalty. No, I'm sorry, not love without loyalty. Love without ownership. And live your fucking life. You only get one. Have a great day.